It's okay.
My door.
Okay. Try your vacuum. En kommer. To today's vlog. It's been a while since I filmed a vlog, and admittedly my social energy is not particularly high right now, neither is my physical energy. However, I do think that this is something valuable to share. This is not a part of people's lives we often see in real time. It's something we often hear about after the fact. Understandably, there's a lot of extra vulnerability to this phase. There's a lot of, I guess, thoughts going on, and a lot of people don't feel particularly physically fantastic. And also, I do experience this to be quite an internal phase. Like, I do find that social things and sharing and talking more takes more energy than it does for me in other phases of my life. Here we are. This is my first trimester vlog. I am a few days shy of 12 weeks, so I guess it's kind of like the end of the first trimester. But nonetheless, today I'm going to take you through what a typical day looks like for us, and also just talk you through how the weeks have looked leading up to this with having a toddler and just my experience of this. So what you're seeing right now is our typical morning routine, and this has stayed consistent. It is very, very important to me to make sure that I am staying nourished, to make sure that I am eating enough, drinking enough, having all my whole food supplements and then other select supplementation based off of if I feel like anything in my diet is lacking. So I do like a very intentional approach rather than a prenatal. Okay, down you go, monkey butt. Okay? Now, I would have done this irrespective, but I have to, I feel, be extra cautious because I am not just pregnant, but I'm also still breastfeeding. And obviously a parent to a toddler, and that requires energy. It requires physical and emotional energy. So I have stayed on top of making sure that I eat enough. So one of the things that is very helpful is that when I came downstairs, I don't know if it's obvious from what you see, is that this dishwasher was already unpacked. So Ian already unpacked that before I came downstairs. The oats that we're gonna be eating, he already soaked overnight. They are already sprouted, but we still do soak them. Soaked overnight. He mostly cooked it, so I just add milk and do the last little bit of cooking for that. he had already made the coffee, so I just kind of like make the rest of it. And then typically every morning I would make one of these, but I didn't need to today because I had leftover from tomorrow. So this is like my milky cacao with a bunch of whole food supplements in it, like oyster powder with a zinc and pearl powder, and colostrum is in there. Can't remember what else right now, but anyway, I make one of these every single morning. I just didn't do it today because I already have this left over from yesterday. And that is also part of me staying on top of it when I'm getting a bit hungry throughout the day, or I feel like I just need something, is I can just grab that and I don't constantly need to be trying to find a whole meal to make for myself. Anyway, I'm also packing Elba's lunch while making breakfast because I'm trying, or I have been trying these weeks, to honor my body's need for rest while still making sure that she has the general activities with some minor adaptations here and there that she is used to having in her life, and that I feel like is important for her to have in her life. So I'm packing this because we have a play date. We do typically have like anywhere between 2 to 3 play dates every single week. Yeah? Cream cheese. So we have been sticking to that for the most part. It's just that to honor what my body needs right now, we've made some like adaptations, and I can talk about what that looks like for us. But this one, the one we're doing today, we don't typically adapt because it's very like low energy effort kind of thing. Another mom and toddler, they live close by. We take turns to do it here, go to them, or go to like a nature walk or something like that. So this one is fairly easy to continue. All right. Maybe I should just share a little bit about my story if you're not familiar with it. We are very conscious people. We are very intentional about our approach. We did 3+ years of preconception before trying to conceive our first kid. Lots of health efforts, lots of all of that. And then, okay, wonderfully, getting pregnant was not an issue, but sadly maintaining said pregnancies were. So I have unfortunately done the first trimester a few times. And that is something that I carry with me when I do this now. It's not just like the vulnerability of remembering the losses or sort of having that. It's not just that. I remember when I gave birth to Elba, I said, like, I'm so happy not to be pregnant anymore. It feels like I've been pregnant for 2 years. And people sort of laughed, the midwives or whatever. But then Ian was like, no, you know, like for me, it really has been like 2 years because of how long and how many. You want more cream cheese? Yeah. Okay. How many times I sadly did the first trimester. So I'm not gonna go into details about those losses in this video. You can ask me, I can make other videos about it, or you can look at my other content. But essentially I had 4 first trimester losses, ranging from like chemical pregnancies to a loss right at 12 weeks. They were all deemed to be random chromosomal cell abnormalities. There was nothing that the specialist could find that we could address or do. Really, the only thing you can do then is to focus on egg and sperm quality, and the advice that was given to us was just to keep at it until one eventually sticks. So wonderfully, one did, and that was my 5th pregnancy, and that was with Elba. But as a result of conception not ever being the issue, is those pregnancies were very close together. So that's why it felt like a really long time of being pregnant for one baby. Now, the reason I share that in this context of my experience obviously is relevant to my experience, but the other thing is that for me, when I'm experiencing symptoms, so I will share what symptoms I get in my first trimester, but to be honest, it's nothing really other than fatigue, and it's only from like particular weeks. but it's quite difficult for me, and I need to go like be intentional about my mindset, because if you've maybe only ever done the first trimester once, or it's your first time of doing it, I think that when you're enduring something that is maybe a little bit difficult, you can get your mind around like, I am growing a baby, this is temporary, and you can really just like be present with that experience and almost like just stay with that gratitude and kind of like have that resilience then through it based off of that sort of mindset. That is a lot harder for me, because several of the times I did this, it did not result in our baby being here with us. I definitely found in these weeks there were times when I was really tired, where I had to like kind of have a hard talk with myself and not allow myself to go into a state of being like a victim to this and going into the spirals of like, what happens if I have to do this so many times again? Like, what happens if this happens or that happens? And really just like catch myself and be like, you know what? Whatever is going to happen is going to happen, whether I worry about it or not worry about it. But all I can really do and focus on is to be present with my kid, be present with this experience, and have gratitude for what I do have on a day-to-day basis, and not go into those spirals that are unhelpful. And that's not a denial of my experience and my feelings. I can sit with my feelings, but there's like a difference between sitting with your feelings and really like making sure that your mindset is one that is serving you and serving your family. So that is something that I have needed to be very intentional about because of my history with the first trimester. Right, now what I typically experience in the first trimester, one of them really did not matter the previous times that I was pregnant, but it did matter this time and continues to matter. I really only have two symptoms, to be honest. And that one is nipple sensitivity. I had that previously and I have it again now. And why it matters is because it has resulted in nursing and breastfeeding being quite painful at times. Now, I knew... Hey, yeah? Het is een beetje warm, dus je gaat het even met mij wachten, oké? En gaan het weer opdischen en kunnen het eten. Ja? Ja, een beetje warm. So that started very early on, like right off the bat there, probably like already, you know, right when you know your period has been missed. And that has come and go, but it's definitely more there than not there. But I knew that this is something that happens to a lot of people because I attend the monthly Lelicia League meetings because I like community with still nursing a toddler. And I have spoken to a lot of people who nurse through pregnancy and also tandem nurse there in those meetings and their experience. So I do know that this is something, I knew that this would be something that would probably happen to me, and I already decided before the time that come what may, I will persevere through it because it is very important to me with our nursing journey that it end organically on Elba's terms and not about for something like this. And that will be different for different people, but that is what is important to me and the decision that I made before the time. Now, this is different from, like I've heard people talk about this sort of almost factually incorrectly. This is different from if you've got nursing pain other times in your journey, because this is nursing a toddler. This is not latch issues. This is not like whatever else may typically cause pain that you can address in your breastfeeding journey. This is not that. This is really just nipple sensitivity, which then results in it being a little bit painful to nurse every now and again. Wat van de berry? Even have. No, thanks. Good. So that's one of the ones, and then the other one is probably the more challenging one. Is fatigue, pretty bad fatigue. But I do think that health efforts make a difference to our experience in the first trimester. We were very intentional about that, very intentional about preconception for this conception again, and like making sure in terms of child spacing that we felt like we were in a good space. Now there's like studies and stuff that link certain things that you may experience in your first trimester to different things, be it blood sugar. You want maple syrup? Blood sugar, or okay, or some vitamin B deficiencies. Thanks, monkey. Or other things. So that being said, like I would be mindful of anything that I put for him that I experienced, and if there's something that I can do to aid my body in that, I definitely do it. I'm not entirely sure the fatigue, other than just like there's a lot going on in your body, and I gaan do my swimming word. With the fatigue, I think the body just does need a lot of rest in this time, and then also just keeping up with eating enough and enough nutrition and all of that stuff. So I have tried to do whatever I can think of to support my body with this. But long story short, that is the only symptom other than the sensitivity that I experience, and I typically experience it from, or I did with Elba, from 8 weeks until 12 weeks. Kan ik even 2 uur? Alright. This time it came a little earlier, around 7 weeks. Yeah. That's it?
Yeah, hot.
I gotta hurry up so we can get to our play date. And the big difference is obviously, this time I've got Elba. So the previous time, we were still living in South Africa. I was self-employed with my consulting firm. So what I would do, ik denk ons lospappen ze voor tot hij afkomt. Dan kan hij dit eten. Ja.
Is papa out?
No, it's mama out.
Is mama out?
Yeah.
It's Abby out.
So what I did in that time, I was able to, these your food.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is I was able to keep up with my work, but nothing more than that really. So what I would typically do is that I would go and do all my client consultations in the mornings, like all my meetings in the morning. I would come home, I would take a nap, I would work some more, I would maybe nap a little bit more, work some more. What is different about that to this, now I can't really plan the things that keep me busy around when I want to take a nap as easily as I could. Because that thing that I do for most of my day is I do things with Elba. And she is home with me, and yeah. So a little bit less flexibility, but still like adaptations that I can and do make. Het ik jou uitschrijven nu en wat met amper gaan. Okay. But the other difficult one has just been that I usually work when Elba is sleeping. So I will sometimes wake up early and consult to South Africa in the mornings before she's awake, and then work again in her nap time, and then work once she's gone to sleep at night. Now, because of the fatigue, that all came to a screeching halt. I have literally barely been able to do any work in weeks. And if I was able to do it, it's kind of like answering a few emails and maybe like 1 or 2 contracts, but just like way too tired to function with her. And then also when she goes to sleep, like try to do that. So typically these last few weeks, for the most part, I've been sleeping when she sleeps. I have been napping with her almost daily, going to bed when she goes to bed and waking up when she wakes up. And then when I didn't nap with her, often I sorely regretted that. And then by like early evening, I would need Ian to just like sub in so I could lie on the couch, this couch, while they played outside in the garden or yeah. And then at night, if I didn't go to sleep when she went to sleep, I would just like lie around. That's pretty much what I did, which is not usual for me at all. So it was a big adjustment to, yeah, generally having a high like output doing things to a different kind of productive, which was honoring my body's need for rest. But the difficulty with that also is that because I'm self-employed, if I don't work, and I'm saying this because I get a lot of comments about how nice it is that I can just do that. It is nice, and I am grateful, and this is like an intentional choice of how we structured life to be with Elba and to do all this. But also, if I don't work, I don't earn any money. So that is something to consider because that has an impact on life. Okay, I think we're running late now. So I'm going to finish up this oats, get Elba dressed for the play date, pack our bag, put some washing on before I get going, and then
and look at the dress on the boat.
Going in the car?
Going in the car, not in the plane. Just like.
Yeah, if you want.
But one just like.
Okay. Let's eat our oats and then we go, okay?
Don't want to stop my phone. It's just. Wow.
Yeah.
Wop, wop, wop. Wop.
You ready? Okay, to run back for a wet bag, some spare clothes. So mom just texted to say she set up a water table for the kids to play with. So, need some stuff. Anyway, we're now en route to go. Alright, so it's about 2.5 hours since I last saw you, and given that I just had a social play date, my capacity for chatting is a little bit less now. And I usually now just make a call on where Elba's at in terms of being tired, whether we have lunch and then she naps, or she naps and then I'll have lunch and she'll eat something when she wakes up. And I took food for her with, which I always do just in case. And right now she's looking a little bit tired. So I think I'm gonna take her upstairs. I'm gonna make myself some food. We're struggling to get through this. Something's going wrong with the GoPro. Anyway, I'm gonna go do that. And then so I actually thought I was gonna take Elba upstairs, but she said that she would like to have lunch first. So lunch it is. We've been having more or less the same thing for lunch. In my tired state, I have not been baking as many sourdough things. Sure. But that which I haven't been baking, okay, I have been purchasing at least a very good, clean ingredient version of it. So usually I make baked bread, bagels, other things, but I have been buying bread just to spend my energy elsewhere. And then once I'm feeling better, I'll get back to baking sourdough stuff right here. So that's one way of just finding a way to get to everything and still eat healthy in this time, still eat our home cooked meals. So we eat home and from scratch meals for every single meal, but where some people may do, for example, dinner and then make enough lunch, like so that they have leftovers for lunch. Like we sometimes do that, like for some of the meat things. Like we may cook a lot of extra because we like having that thing for like lunches, like and like sausage rolls if we do ground beef. But typically, you need a lappy? Typically what we do instead is that we do like dinner such that the next night's dinner is not entirely cooked from scratch. Usually just the extra foods like the bijkosten side dishes with the meat will be cooked from scratch, but breakfast is, you saw, done from scratch. Lunch, you're going to see now, done from scratch. And then tonight is a cook from scratch dinner as well. Usually I make our dinners and our lunches, but these last few weeks, just in terms of my energy, Ian has stepped in to help me when my energy is a little bit on the lower side. So tonight, I took it out this morning, not sure if you did see that, we are going to cook steak, enough steak for tonight and tomorrow night. So typically Ian will cook our steak for us, and then depending on my energy, I will make the side dish with it, or if I'm low on energy, I'm actually feeling very good today, Ian may do our side dish for us. He's been very flexible and helpful with just like, we play it by ear and see how I'm doing. Also just in terms of like helping each other to keep everything clean, you saw Ian unpack the dishwasher, then I partially packed it, and thankfully he packed the rest of it. So our kitchen is nice and clean and it's easy for me to get lunch done. We've established quite a good rhythm, I would say, with like our just routine of getting the house things done, which I feel is really nice and helpful, because also you'll see it later in the day, but behind you is Elba's play area. And with that, we typically pick everything up at the end of the day, and the vacuum comes before we come down in the morning. So there's just like a few things that we figured out how to simplify our life, free up energy to spend on the things that we think are more important to spend our energy on. One of the things that I felt was a little bit lacking in my previous pregnancy was eating eggs frequently enough. I did read Real Food for Pregnancy. It's a really good book. I'll link down below. I have a blog about sort of recommended readings that I think are useful, but choline is particularly important in pregnancy, and I just feel like last time I did not do the best job at making sure that I ate egg regularly. So even on days that I don't necessarily feel like making egg, maybe like today, I'm gonna make it anyway. And we're going to eat egg for lunch. And we have been pretty much most of our lunches these last few weeks have been egg. This is not exactly food I feel comfortable leaving alone, just because of how quickly the egg can overcook, and also the toast can burn. No pot. So I'm gonna focus on lunch. Stop talking. Yeah, okay, almost. And then quickly do the washing. And then we go nap. Yeah. I'll see how I feel. Today I'm actually feeling more energetic than I felt in weeks. So maybe I don't need to nap, but every other time I've done that, I have regretted it. So we will see. Obviously the fatigue does let up around this time typically, but I'm still a bit nervous about it. Where is Yandeepy?
I can't see.
You can't see.
No.
Ja? We gaan het opsnijden voor ons thuis. Ja? going to go read, clean your face, take a nap. So I was very mistaken about my energy levels, I guess. I literally slept for the entire duration of Alba's nap with her. She even woke up before me and was like, "Hey, get up." And I'm like, no, I could do with some more nap time. But yeah, so that's like, it's 5 p.m. now. I think we slept for over 2.5 hours. And then to still feel tired after that is like, you know, very much fatigue and not just like a normal amount of tired. It's good that I did that because Ian let me know that he needs to work tonight late. So won't be able to do our usual like after work activities. Like usually he will go and play outside with Elba, be it in the backyard or on our driveway, like, or she rides around the block, or we all go for a walk to the park. He's been helping me out with dinner some nights. I will be making most of dinner, but he will still come down and cook the steaks. So it just means that now, what we're doing now, he usually will maybe spend some time with Elba. But just maybe to share a bit more about how we've adapted a few of our activities this last few weeks to honor my body's need for rest, but still try to stay active, try to get outside, try to keep like a certain rhythm for Elba, and also just not veg, because I feel like that could, there's like a balance between resting, but then also not just like spending way too much time indoors or in front of a screen or anything like that. We are a screen-free family. Elba does not watch TV or any like kind of videos or anything like that. We only do video calls because we live abroad with family and friends that live far away, and we also like limit that as well. Otherwise that can also kind of become an activity. It's not the same as like TV and other things, but it can be. So we do kind of have parameters even on that. I just want to say for other families that are also screen freaks, because sometimes I may watch YouTube videos or other things or read things from other parents about like how they went through times of having lower than usual energy, how they adjusted to multiple babies and things like that. And it often includes using a screen for the other kid, and that's fine for that family, but it's a bit disheartening for me in the sense of trying to find ideas and see ways that it is done without doing that. So that's also why I'm sharing that in this video, is that in my entire weeks of fatigue, which is now like over 2 months of fatigue, yes, an ant.
Yeah.
I have not, the ant, you take it out. I have not once felt the need or even the desire, even like for a second, to put Elba in front of a screen, even when it was like at the worst days that I was really incredibly very tired. Those thoughts did not even cross my mind. And I think the reason they don't cross my mind is it's just like a non-negotiable thing we just don't do. It's not a part of our lives. It's not an option for us. So it's not even something I need to debate in my head. I'm not expending energy thinking like, should I not? Because it's not something we do. And if you look around her space here, everything in her space is such that she needs to actively engage with it for it to do anything. There are no battery operated toys, I guess, except this stove light on the kitchen, that entertain her. Everything in her environment since she was born has always been she needs to actively engage in her environment. She can get bored if she wants to get bored, because from that boredom will come creativity. And because that's such a fundamental part of how we approach things, I've also not once felt like, oh, I wish I could just like put something in front of her to entertain her for a period of time. And I share that as maybe something that inspires some hope for other parents who are also choosing not to use screens, but also not to use any kind of distracting or entertaining, so to speak, where the thing is entertaining your kid during times where you may have lower energy or less resources. On the days where I was like incredibly exhausted, I sat on the couch in Elba's play space and I just sat there staring at her, watching her do something, or reading to her, or days where I didn't necessarily have the energy to read her books even, I would just sit next to her and ask her to read to me. Because we read the book so many times, though she can't read, she's 2.5, but she has memorized a lot of them. So then she would read to me, or I would just sit with her while she plays, or sit near her while she plays, and that would be my rest, just sitting there. If I felt any kind of energy, I would read as well, but other than that, I just sat there. So in terms of just like screen use though, I will say one of the not so great things that have come from this tired time is that I have spent a lot more time on my device, which I do not love. And that has predominantly come when I'm just like, after Elba's fallen asleep, and I kind of like lie there, I'm not quite ready to fall asleep, but I'm too tired to do anything else. And then I ended up spending a lot of time scrolling Facebook groups. On a lot of Facebook groups, like a lot of, I don't know, different information groups, and I spent a lot of time on there, and it did not feel good. It doesn't feel good, because it's kind of like pseudo. Oh, you need some more cream? Some cream cheese? Okay, I'll go grab you some cream. Those things are like pseudo interactions, and it's just, yeah, I didn't feel good from that. So then I shifted that to watching TV. I would come downstairs and I would lie with another play couch. We don't have any normal couches. We sold it. We wanted play couches instead, and we like our surfaces to promote certain body, whatever. So then I started just watching like limited series, which also is not something I really do. I don't really watch TV anymore, like since Elba's been born. It's just part of her being screen free is changing my habits and my relationship to screens. I just really haven't watched a lot of screens. But I was like, I'm gonna do the lesser of two things that are not the best for my well-being, but right now I'm too tired to do anything else, and it's better for my well-being to watch a limited series than it is to be scrolling social media. Thankfully, I'm not in the whole like doom scroll of reels and things like those.
I don't ice cream, more ice cream.
Cream cheese.
Cream cheese.
Yeah, you're gonna have to dig it out here because that's unfortunately the only cream cheese we have. We're gonna go to the shop tomorrow, we'll get some more. Anyway, so I ended up doing a lot of that, and Honestly, that felt definitely much better than scrolling on my phone. And I don't really feel like that is as addictive as a habit as it is to go on your little portable device that you carry around. So I know that when my energy is better,
Mama, how?
that's not really going to be a habit I need to break. It will just be something that naturally falls away. Where once we start going on our phone a lot, I feel like we have to break that habit again. It can be a little bit like habitual and a lot more addictive, in my opinion, than watching TV. So that is a little bit more screen time that has happened, but that is for me, a grown adult with my brain fully developed for the most part, which is, in my opinion, very different from a 2.5-year-old.
Shop.
Yeah, tomorrow we're gonna go to the shop and get some more. But there's still lots left in this container. You're just gonna have to dig it out. So now back to how like some activities have just been adapted slightly. I'm not one to...
I take it out.
Okay, you want me to help you? For me, pregnancy is not a secret. It's not something that I keep secret and then I announce to the world at a particular time. Because maybe on social media different to in real life, but in real life I was talking to the people in my life who I hang out with about it from the moment I knew. And the reason for that is we're hanging out. I want them to know what's going on for me. And the wonderful thing about that is that I typically hang out with moms who they've all been pregnant, so they know what it feels like, even if they have their own different unique symptoms. But it did mean that they were very, very supportive. So be it that they were very supportive for our nursing journey, because that's also a value I share with them, or when we would hang out, they would know that my energy... So we would do activities that maybe require slightly less energy from my part, or they would do a bit more of the like going after the toddlers or assisting if necessary, so that I could maybe spend a bit more time just standing still or sitting still. So that was very helpful. And then in terms of like our family activities, we got into hiking and doing trails and what we call nature walks quite heavily right before this, and we have not been able to maintain that through me getting so tired, because it's like usually quite a bit of a drive to wherever we go, and then it's many hours of, well, several hours of walking, and a lot of those hours I will carry Elba in a carrier, like on my back. And we've done a few. We definitely could keep up with it in the beginning, and then not really, and we started doing ones that are closer to home, and so we don't have that drive component to it. And then Ian would do more of the carrying than I would do, just as my energy levels started to drop, especially in the heat as well. Sometimes a bit much. So yeah, we haven't been doing like trails like far out the city for a few weeks now, which is a bit sad, but we have still been doing the ones that are in the city or close to the city, and just with some adaptations to make them a bit easier for me. We also every Saturday do park run. It's a 5K run, but you can walk it, and usually I will walk it with Elba in the carrier. We have a stroller, we have a running stroller as well. We just don't really like to use like strollers. We like her to actively participate in what we're doing, and in a carrier you're kind of in an active seat looking around the world. It's not like in a chair in a thingy. But anyway, long story short, probably around... Scoot? Can you get a lappy for your face? Okay. Around week 8, it got a bit tiring for me to carry Elba that entire 5Ks. And so then Ian stopped running park run, because he would run it, and started walking it with us instead, and carry Elba so she will walk run. So whenever she walk run, he'll carry her for when she needs to be carried, and she will walk or run when she feels like walking or running.
Where should we go?
All clean.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Aww.
Mommy,
Huh? Kaka did mo Scott. Alright, I'm gonna get started on dinner while I chat to you. Because I'm in the mood to do things slowly. Yeah. Also, it's getting time for dinner. You gonna make this? In your kitchen? Okay. Anyway, while I'm busy with this, maybe I'll just clarify a few things if they're of interest. So one of the things I mentioned is I guess not a secret to me, pregnancy, but it's also not something like I would announce anymore. I have in previous months. But it's more the reason I'm not like just sharing it more with the world, I guess, is that for me it's like an awkward one because I don't do any tests. So there's no peeing on a stick, and there's no ultrasounds to date, there's no Doppler, there's no blood tests, there's nothing. So there's nothing to show other than I know I'm pregnant. And it was very obvious to me from very early on. It was very intentional. We were very intentional about child spacing. I am very meticulous about fertility awareness. I mean, I co-created an entire course where my part of the course is about fertility awareness. Yeah. And I was very confident in my use of it, even postpartum, even through breastfeeding. And then when we were ready and we had decided on like the minimum child spacing time and where we're at and our health and all of those things, we embarked on actively. Yeah? Hot. Nice. And that was the first cycle where it was possible, and we made made it possible. And yeah, so I mean, I know I have videos linked down below from the previous times of how I know. I can make a video on how I know this time as well, but it's like, it's not like, how do you announce that to people? Usually you have something to show, and I don't. So previously with Alba, I would be showing like my fertility awareness journal on my stories every day, so it's like really obvious by the cycle day. But I've stopped doing that like a while ago. So now I'm like, okay, well, this, I don't know, really, it's not like can't really announce it in the most typical sense. Anyway, the other thing with that is that for a lot of people, especially people who have experienced losses, but I'm sure lots of people, other people just also like to have some sort of confirmation via some kind of test. And this is not something that I want for a variety of reasons. And it's not something that I find...
There's cooking.
Okay.
Yeah, it's cooking.
Okay.
I'm making cooking a show.
You're cooking?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So at this point, it's very much like wait and surrender to the mystery of life and see what grows and how and when, and wait for movement and all of that, same as what I did with Elba. And that may seem like hard to some people, especially after my history, you can assume, but it feels the most wholesome to me, that approach, and the most like surrendering to the mystery of life. And at the onset of things that I may often come across as maybe controlling because I'm so hectic about our health and like what's in our space, but I'm like, we do what we can. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah?
Hello, it's too many days. One more too many days.
Yes?
One more too many days.
I'm just saying.
No. Not eating the egg.
You're making potato salad.
No. as I was saying, I think we control and we're intentional about behaviors and mindset approaches and things to the extent that it, sorry, interruptions, aids us in being healthy, to be healthy and to be well, and yeah, to be fulfilled in life and to live as wholesomely as good for you. All right, with Rose. Part of this last while has also been just managing my irritability levels and how much more sensitive I am to stimulus and things. So anyway, what I was saying was we do what we can to be well in all spheres, healthy, have a wholesome life, feel fulfilled with life, feel connected to people and ourselves, etc. And then, okay, I'm not gonna smoke it still, okay? And then thereafter, it serves us, I think. I'm gonna speak on my behalf. Oopsie. With mosh, water, to then ride the wave of life's mysteries and the uncertainty that comes with that, and to see how things unfold. So that's my approach to all of this, and I understand is an unusual approach in our modern society, but women have been able to tell that they are pregnant without tests for a long time, for more time that women have existed than have the test existed. And no, thanks. And jag kan ett erskatt en dan en sut. And from my own experience, but then sure, reading up a lot about tests in the first part, Snaidor, I concluded that serves me more not to do it than is the...
That's very hard.
Yeah.
Cut that one.
Try that one. Anyway, that's not what today's video is about. I'm just sharing that for a little bit of context into my situation. Yeah? Do you want to try turning it over? But the one thing I did do is I did register with a midwife, and I have met up with her, had an appointment with her, and all of that. That may not be something that I would typically do at this point in a pregnancy, but where I live there is a midwife shortage, and last time, having moved here 25 weeks, how pregnant was I? 21 weeks pregnant, 22 weeks pregnant, around there, to Canada. I did not have my preference or choice of midwives. I just took whoever was willing to take me on and available, whereas this time I wanted to choose my midwife, because I think who you have in your birth space is very important. And anyway, so in terms of medical stuff, that's what I've done. I've gone to an appointment and I've established a care provider. I'm not saying I won't do any tests or anything. We'll see how that unfolds later. It's just this beginning part. There's no interest from my side to do it. You're speaking moeilijk potatoes. And it's not necessarily what feels like the easier route. It just feels like the one that's more aligned with the kind of parent that I want to be. And yeah. So that's what I do.
How?
She doesn't have a knife that is strong or sharp enough to cut through these potatoes, so that's a bit of a frustration for her. Anyway, in terms of other topics, one of the things that is also beneficial for me in times of lower energy is, like, I spoke a bit about our foundation to parenting and just like what's been our approach since Elba was born, not entertaining her, allowing her to get bored and all of that. So earlier you saw me set up paint for her, but I don't typically set up activities for her. Like every now and again, sure, like as part of just like I find something I think is fun and maybe she wants to do it, but I don't ever like plan ahead to think of ways that I'm going to entertain her during a day, or think of like activities to set up for her to keep her busy or anything like that. The reason I set up the paint was in her environment is like everything that is safe for her to play with, safe in terms of for her, but then also for our stuff. And there's a few things that are packed away that she requests because I'm not going to keep it out, like paint. So she asked me if I could set up the paint for her, which is why I did. And that's been like something that
Mama, cut this.
I think saves a lot of energy.
Cut this.
Sure, how about you cut this one, Salon? I'll cut that one. Is that I'm not spending time thinking of ways to entertain my kid. I spend time thinking of ways that would be good for us to like spend our time outside and making connections with families that share similar values. I spend my time like planning, like for example, nature walks and reading up.
Cut this one.
Okay.
I want to do this one.
About different things to have in our environment that promote. Okay, cut that one. Like different skills and things, just so that she has it in her environment. But then aside from that, I don't spend my time entertaining my child. And I think that really helps because I speak to a lot of people who feel like very, like the start of the day is very heavy. It's very like, oh my gosh, like it's gonna be so much to do and to like keep my kid busy and all that, where as you can see, sure, yeah, I just go about life and plan things for her that, you know, I think are life enriching, like play date. Yeah?
Mama, cut.
Okay.
Do this knife.
With your knife? Your knife is not very sharp, so I don't want to cut with it if you don't mind. Okay. That has definitely been something that I valued in this time, and we also are very intentional about child spacing for many elements, health and but also like developmentally with our kid and what to give and so forth. So also like at a time of choosing to embark on this, Elba is a lot more independent, like in terms of her physical needs.
This one.
Okay. So we did elimination communication, for example. So goes to the bathroom by herself and we just assist if she asks for assistance and make sure everything's fine. We're like long gone past that phase. As you can hear, she communicates her needs to us. So the energy spent on parenting at this phase for me, I still need to cut this one, is right now more about like emotional energy, social energy, connecting to her, answering the curious questions, and definitely managing my stimulus such that it was really easy in the last few weeks to become a bit flustered and a bit like feeling like it's a lot, which wasn't what I was experiencing when I wasn't pregnant. It was a lot more flowy and so forth. So aside from fatigue, I don't think that was a byproduct of just being tired. I think it is its own thing, like a hormonal sensitivity that one might experience in your luteal phase, but I find just like extra in this phase, and it's important and beautiful, but it's not necessarily easy, and it's not necessarily easy when you have a little being who's wonderfully curious about life but asks me millions of questions in a day So that's just been, yeah, something that's been a, I don't want to say challenge, but definitely like maybe I don't want to right now have a better word for it. Something I needed to work on this last while.
There we go.
More potato.
You go in there.
You can put it in there.
Yeah.
Okay. So also just for context about our lives, as you've heard now a few times, we live far away from family and long-standing friendships. So we moved here when I was 5 months pregnant. With Elba, we had no family and friends when we moved here. We have since made wonderful friends, but we still do not have family here, so we don't have that kind of support. Which definitely you feel that void in times like this. It's not about somebody physically helping me. Like I'm very much like plan my life to do it like on our own. And if anybody offers help, amazing. And I know how to ask for help. I don't have any issues with that. You gonna wash your hands, or I feel the void because you kind of know, like if you live close to family. Oh, you're gonna wash here? You're gonna use your step. You would maybe be going to dinner with family, and I don't know, just having that. So I definitely in times like this feel that part that's missing from our lives. But does it open it?
Yeah.
It is what it is. So we make do. We do the best that we can. I don't like that way of speaking. We figure out how to do things without having that, which other people may have, like lots of things in life. The support that I do have is Elba has what I call a play sitter. So it is what it sounds like.
Mama, I want milky.
Okay, ons gaan nou op die laaste aardappel. It's someone who comes like once or twice a week to play with her for 2 hours while I'm in the house, not tending to her physical needs or anything like that, just somebody else to read to her, do an activity with her, etc. I started doing it when she was like just over a year old. Okay, I'm just gonna tear that paper off for you. And Elba's usual play sitter is going away or is currently away for like 2 weeks or so. And usually I would not get like anybody else in. I would just like not have her come that time. But just because of my energy and all of that, we have found a replacement who's coming in this time. And also obviously with Ian going away, solo parenting vibes, it just feels supportive to have that. So that is what we do have in terms of physical support. It may seem quite, I don't know, tedious to explain this, or like, why are you telling us your life story? Good question. Jokes. But that's usually the questions that I wonder when I'm watching people who choose to share online, is a lot of the time I don't see how they do all the things that they do, and it's nobody's like forced to share every little bit of detail with us, but I think a lot of the time we don't recognize the resources or support that other people may have that we also have or don't have, or have thought of to use, like the concept of a play sitter I came up with. And now subsequently a few of my friends whose children don't go to daycare have also implemented like something similar, because it feels like it aligns with our values of not wanting someone to like care for your child or be away from your child. It's very important to us, but it still kind of frees up your hands and your attention to tend to a few things in the home, because obviously living here we don't have domestic support. All done painting? Yeah. Okay, I'll come help you pack it up if you need me to. So I share from the space of being real, and also just like if it's helpful to get ideas. Anyway, and it's often something I wonder when I watch family YouTubers, or honestly, to be honest, I don't watch much of that anymore. I just often wonder, like, where's your kids right now? Like when you're filming this and when you're editing or all of that, and like you see where my kid is when I'm doing this stuff and when I am and not doing it. It's under the container. So there we go. So I tried to show the real, and you can see where my kid is and what she's doing. Right now she's packing up her paint. We need it, that's funny. Oh, poured out the water. Anyway, it's fine. I do think that it is valuable to other families or other women to see, like, other ways that other people are doing it. Before like way back in the species of humanity, I think we lived a much more like community orientated life where you really had a lot more insight into other people's lives. You were a lot more village like, where now I feel like we live very isolated lives, like separate houses, closed up, lots of privacy, and then the insight you get into somebody's life is what you see when you hang out with them, what they tell you, or a usually curated thing that you see online. And I don't know, I find it connecting to share the real and to share the things that I know that I find interesting and valuable to see. Gaat het niet wensen? We're a little bit behind schedule. We don't have a schedule. But Alba and I did wake up a bit late. Ooh, chips. From nap. So dinner will be a little later. Bedtime will be a little bit later. I forgot I wanted to make a carrot salad. Yeah. Maybe just a bit of a dipping sauce. A friend recently reminded me of how nice how nice aioli is, and we happen to have leftover avocado oil mayonnaise. We don't typically eat mayonnaise, but we happen to have that left over from some potato salad that I made, so I'm going to make some, or attempt to make some aioli to go with our chips. And then while they're in the oven, we might just, I don't know, do a little bit of cleaning up, get the washing from the dryer, get it ready to go upstairs.
The bath.
Yeah, when we go upstairs to the bath.
Like that one.
Exactly. Bath. Papa will do the laundry, and then we brush teeth, and then we go to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's some books from the bags?
Yeah, read some books. Fun to do the bags.
Maybe go on farm.
Yeah, Leo and Melody go to the farm. Yeah, you like
Up
that.
and up.
You want to read Hop on Pop?
Yeah.
Or 10 apples up on top?
No.
Yeah, that's cool. We can do that.
I have carrots.
You need some carrot?
Yeah. Yeah.
I do have a blog, by the way, where I share more information. So link down below. I just remembered something. I will share my raw carrot salad recipe, and I'm pretty sure that blog kind of just contains why we eat it regularly. And then there's just like other stuff on there too. Yeah. And mayonnaise and garlic. Downstairs is clean, prepped, ready for tomorrow. The oats is on soaking. Tired. Ian has taken up the washing from the dryer to be unpacked and folded and put away while we do nighttime routine. Alba's playroom, everything is picked up. Today was a lot less picking up than it may be on other days. But yeah, now I'm going to end off today's video. Thank you so much for being here. I'm ending it because for the rest of tonight I think it would be good for Alba and I to connect, no camera, because I'm definitely aware of how me talking to a camera during our day does kind of impact on her and our usual experience. I try to make it as least disruptive to our life while still sharing as much as possible. But we're gonna go upstairs, we're going to the bath, we're going to have Mama Milkies, we're gonna brush teeth, and then read books.
In the
What is that?
the one day you go bath, you brush your teeth, go bath, and the
Is the toothpaste yucky?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Don't eat putty.
Don't eat the tooth putty. Yes, don't eat the tooth putty. Alright, so I just want to thank you so much for being with us today. It was beautiful for me to share in this with you, and I will see you soon.